Get some good stuff. How's it going, Chandler?
Pretty good, pretty good.
How was your vacation?
It was good. It was extremely busy, but it was good. It was a bachelor trip.
Yeah. That's cool. Is that a Romex hat you have on?
Yes, it is.
Where'd you get that?
What's his name?
JJ?
I think it's JJ. Yeah.
That's cool. How's it going, Dakota?
It's going pretty good. Haven't been awake for too long, but hey.
Nice. One of the joys of having work start at 10. You can sleep till 10. Okay, whenever you're ready, Brandon, you can blow our minds.
Well, I don't know what you want me to say. There we go. Can you see me?
And see you.
All right, cool. Yeah, I don't know what you really want me to say. Do you guys have any questions about Romex first? Maybe that can prompt something.
Yeah, so what might be good is like just, and sorry, let me get my screen here. Like, okay, there you go. Okay. Maybe what would be awesome is if you could just give us like a background of your story, just like almost a testimonial. So like these guys can have a vision of the future. Like, I don't even know how you start knocking doors. Like what is your full story?
Yeah. So I actually kind of got into the game quite a bit later than you guys, right? So you guys are young. I envy what you guys have done. I'm 38. When did you start knocking, Dan?
23.
Okay. See, I was like 27 or 28. So I was in college, gonna go be a dentist. Actually, I wanted to be an orthodontist, right? So I was going to school and it's going well, but I started working part-time at a motorcycle dealership.
She thought
And
she was
absolutely
going this way. All of a sudden the cow,
And if you could throw your phone, that'd be great.
and she went, and I remember my hand up on that white wall like this. And she,
Okay, there, I muted him.
there we go. All right. So I was going to college and I started working at a motorcycle dealership and anyways, one day the owner approached me and said, "Hey, do you want to buy a motorcycle dealership with me?" And I said, "Yeah, let's do it." So we bought a Yamaha dealership up in Idaho. I moved up to Idaho and I started running it. Now, I don't know how old you guys are, but this all happened during 2008. And we closed on it March of 2008. The housing crash, everything happened March of 2008. So we had entered into engagements in like January, not knowing, a recession was coming and all this stuff was happening. Anyways, long story short, we buy this dealership and I drop out of college. So I'm like, all right, I'm all in on this, right? Start selling, goes really well. We were actually the #1 Yamaha dealer in the entire country in 2008. In 2009, we were also #1. They flew me out to Hawaii. I spoke to all 1,200 dealers at a big dealer convention thing. It was awesome. It was so fun.
Yeah.
And anyways, I in 2010, I get approached by one of the founders of Capital One. Now, this is the guy, he was the marketing genius behind Capital One. And he came up with the idea of the 0% balance transfer. And anyways, it skyrocketed Capital One into the credit card playing field, right? Against Visa, MasterCard, Citi, American Express, right? So that put Capital One on the map. So this guy wrote me a fat check And I was like, sweet, I've made it, right? I tried to retire. At this time, I'm like 30 years old. Tried to retire. I invested a bunch of money in with this guy that was trading stocks, and I was like, this is what dreams are made of. I move out on a houseboat out at Lake Powell, and I'm like, this is great. Single, right? All this stuff, and I'm like, this is pretty awesome. Well, long story short, I'm out on my houseboat one day. I get a call from the FBI.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, well, actually, it's worse. They called my mother's house and left an answer on like a message on the answer machine. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyway, so my mom called me and it's like, hey, the FBI called. They're looking for you. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Anyways, I called the dude back. He's like, hey, I need to meet with you. I was like, all right, well, I'm in Lake Powell. I'm like 2.5 hours away from you. I can't, can we talk on the phone? And he's like, no, I need to meet with you. I was like, all right, I'll be there first thing in the morning. So I jump in my car. Okay. Sorry, my wife's got to lay our baby down. So I jump in the car and I head over to the FBI office the next morning. And I'm like, all right, what's up, guys? Basically, they tell me that all the money I had invested with this stockbroker was gone. And I was stunned. I was just like, are you kidding me? Anyways, they're like, I was like, it's gone, like there's nothing. He's like, no. He's like, he's gonna be arrested, and after we build this case, and he'll have to pay retribution or whatever, restitution is what they called it. Anyways, I haven't seen a dime from it, but anyways, pretty crazy. I was broke, right? And so I had to do something. My back was up against a wall, and I was like, I got to do something. I've got to, like, I don't know. I got to get my life together. And anyways, I go back to Lake Powell, and it was crazy. I actually met my wife that weekend. We didn't get married right away, but we met and we started dating. And anyways, my life from that point just took a completely different turn. And I was like, okay, I had a few assets. I had some land. I had, some vehicles. And I was like, okay, let's restructure this. So I started selling off a few things, sold a motorcycle, sold a car, sold a piece of land I had, recapitalized a little bit, enough to get me through. Long story short, my brother-in-laws came out to Lake Powell that same weekend, and they had both just finished selling pest control. They had sold down in Houston for, it was Eco First at the time. That eventually became Alterra, and now you guys are probably familiar with Aptive. Anyways, so they were like, hey, I was telling them what happened, and they're like, you need to make some money, come sell with us. And so I was like, all right, let's do it. So my brother-in-law, one of them, I helped him recruit a team with some other guys. And I said, let's do this. So that next April, I actually ended up getting married. Right after my honeymoon, I flew right to Austin, Texas. That was my very first summer selling. And I just started going. I was the top guy in the office my first summer. And it wasn't even that great, but that shows we didn't have that great of an office, but I sold like 265 accounts. Decent. All right. For my first year. And I was like, all right, I can do this. So I actually came back and I was like, I got to go back to college. So I started going back to college, changed my major, got a degree in economics. And I started Romex at the same time. Fast forward a few years, I sold Romex to Bulwark Exterminating. They're a regional company. So I sold everything to them and went to work for them out in North Carolina. recruited a couple of teams around the area. And then JJ and I broke off, and we started Romex again after that initial year with Bulwark. And our first office was right there in Dallas, right where you guys are at. So we just started rocking and rolling. And I think our first year I sold like 800 accounts. JJ sold 900. And we just started going, and we've turned it into the beast that it is today. So I don't know if you guys know kind of where we're at. We just finished 2021. We did just over $16 million in revenue. A lot of that's thanks to you guys, but we've got 5 different locations now, 5 different offices, and it's going really well.
Yeah, it is.
So it's fun. Some days are more challenging than others, but overall it's a blast. I really enjoy it. I actually envy you guys a lot of days. I'm like, I tell Sam all the time, I'm like, Sam, it would be so nice to not use my brain today and just go out and just sling some deals. Yeah. Like, that sounds so fun to me. Not that selling, you don't have to use your brain, but just like, not like spreadsheets and financial statements and reading these complex insurance documents and things like that. But it would be, I would really, really love to just get out and go sell some days. So anyways, I really envy you guys some days.
Yeah, for sure. I love selling. Awesome. Well, maybe, and then I don't know if you have like 2 or 3 like tips for sales in this DFW market. We deal with a lot of home team houses out of home team. So that's a big one we run into.
Okay.
Maybe that one. We run into a lot of Massey, probably used to be, Precision, that same other type of sale.
Yep.
And then whatever, I don't know. Those are just 2 things off the top of my head, but I'm sure the guys have a couple of questions and whatever you want to say, but yeah.
Yeah. So my biggest thing is I loved selling home team neighborhoods. I used to go find a home that was under construction, and I would take pictures, right, of the tubes running along the walls, and I would show people, right? And then I would also, they always have extra clippings of the tubes out and around the construction site. So I used to cut them up and put and kind of tie them up into a little knot. And I used to put them in my back pocket. And I would use that as I would knock doors, and I would use it and I would show people. I'd say, hey, did you see the blue and green tubes that were being installed along the side of your house as you guys were, as your home was getting built? And I'd nod my head, right? And they usually say, yeah. And I say, they look like this, right? And they're like, yeah. And I say, look at these. They're about the size of a coffee straw. If you look how tiny that perforation or that the hole is in it, it's tiny. It doesn't take much dirt, mold, or mildew to get in there, to clog it to where it's completely ineffective. I said, on top of that, they only have 5 to 7 exits where that pesticide can get out and go in between the walls. And if you look, and then you can show them the video, or you can, explain that those tubes run around the home. They're going to run to the back door, the front door, and then the plumbing penetrations inside the home, which are usually kitchen and then bathrooms. Well, by the time you explain that, they're like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense usually. I say, that's why we don't use that system. One, we try and keep them out of the walls in the first place. We don't want them in there. So that's why we're going to do a 2 foot up, 3 foot out spray barrier around your entire home and structure. We're going to keep those bugs outside of those walls in the first place. Then we're going to take a granule and we're going to go another 15 feet out just to make sure that those aren't getting there. Now, if they do get there, we do warranty it. We're going to come back at no extra cost. We just need you to call us. You're our eyes and ears here. And we just need you to call us and we'll come back out and get those treated for you. But that's how I approach a home team sale. So I don't try and, talk negative on the company or talk negative about the system or whatever. I just educate. I say, look, here's the way it is. Here's the facts. And I think people appreciate that. Now, you're not going to sell everyone, but it works really, really well. For example, with Massey, I just, we actually competed more against Precision when I was selling. Massey wasn't there at the time, but with Massey, I just, I mean, their techs are running 20 to 25 sprays a day. And so with them, in order to get 20 to 25 sprays a day done, that means a technician can spend 10 to 15 minutes max at your home. Right? But the time they have drive time and all this other stuff incorporated, whatever price you're paying, $80, $100, $50, what, their pricing's all over the board, but you're paying for 10 to 15 minutes of their time and their service. That's not a value that I would want to pay as a homeowner. I'm assuming you would not want to pay that as well. So here's what we offer, right? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to sweep your eaves. We're going to power spray. We're going to granulate. Insides included if you ever need it. Those kind of things. So that's how I approach. That's exactly how I approach those types of companies and entities. And it worked really well for me. The biggest thing I can tell you guys is smile. Like you smile on a door and they start to smile. It changes the whole mood of the sale. The second big thing is tonality, right? Don't talk too loud. Don't get excited. Just, go through your spiel, let them know how it is, keep a good tone, and then watch their body language. You react to their body language. They start leaning up against the door, you do the same. They fold their arms, you do the same. You look them in the eyes, you smile, you have good tonality, good body language, you're going to close a ton of sales. And I probably the biggest thing that I want you guys to know and that you guys can believe in is the Romex service. We work very, very hard every day to improve our service. We do amazing trainings with our technicians throughout the year. I just had a TDA audit down in Austin 2 weeks ago, and the inspector that was there. So the TDA is the Texas Department of Agriculture that oversees all the pest control companies in Texas. And she said to me, she says, you guys are so organized and you do more training than any company I've ever seen. Now, the reason we do that is we want our technicians to be well-versed, know what's going on when they go to that home, that they can solve that problem. If they can't, they're going to go look elsewhere. And we don't want that to happen. So usually that translates into excellent retention of our customers. And just from my standpoint, guys, the biggest thing you guys can do that's holding up your guys' sales in the long term is pay. Just get a credit card at the very end. It's very, very simple, but that's going to help because if they have a balance, they're not going to get serviced, which pushes out the contract. There's a bunch of different, things to it, but just grab a card. say, last thing I need before I head out, and my technician shows up is a credit or debit card. Which do you prefer? Look down at your iPad. Don't look up. Just wait for them. They'll go. I promise you, they'll go turn around and go get it. So, anyways, those are my my thoughts. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, I have one. So I feel like I've been really good at comparing like apples to apples when it goes to like service basis for another company. Good about not talking down on another company or anything like that. The one thing I have struggled with is when you have another quality company that also has a contract where they're locked in. I've been doing this since March, and I haven't been able to get anybody to pay like that $250 cancellation fee since about March. Like I've had 2 people do that, but that's something I struggle with, is switching somebody over from another decent company when there's a cancellation fee.
Yeah, I think that's probably the second hardest switch over in the whole industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I still struggle with that. I think Dan still struggles. I think everyone still struggles with that, right? So I think the best thing you can do in those types of situations is have excellent time management. Push once, maybe twice. If you're not getting anywhere, follow up. That's it. That's all you can do. When's your contract? Next February? Wonderful. You mind if I follow up with you in January? Before your best thing you can do. The number one hardest switch over mom and pop companies.
Yeah.
That know their technician. They don't even know the name of the company. They just say John comes out and services my home.
Yeah.
They don't know how much they're paying. Those are the hardest in my.
I agree.
No, I think I think that's a very valid thing. It's probably not the answer you want to hear, but go to the next door. Don't waste your time. Don't keep pushing. Just say, wonderful. I really want to earn your business. My company is awesome. I know you're going to love it. Do you mind if I follow up with you in January before your contract's up in February?
Gotcha.
Then do the follow-up. So that's very, very important. Anything else?
I've got one. If anyone else wants to jump in though too. As you know, DFW is a competitive market. Every pest control company is in DFW, plus all the mom and pops. So we've really been working on increasing our contract value, and changing our culture to having, better one, because it's easy to just, do the cheap thing. But, you have an amazing company. Trust me. And I know companies. I own a company. I know companies, and I look up to you guys. You guys are killing it. You guys, I'm super impressed with all the numbers that I see and like the service, and like, yeah, that's why I chose you guys, because, I was looking at other companies that we could sell for, and I was like, no, Gromix is solid. And so I want to make sure, we're getting the value from them for the value we're giving them. And so any tips on, because we're competing against, Precision used to just be dirt cheap. And so any suggestions on how to increase the initial price, or how to increase like your quarterly or bi-monthly, or just get a larger contract value?
Yeah. So a couple of things. The easiest way is to sell every other month services. With the pest pressure the way it is down in the South, Dallas, Texas, all over Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, the pest pressure is so great. And what breaks down these products is they're phytotoxic, right? So do you guys know what that means?
No.
So that means that the sun is what breaks down these products, right? So anywhere it's really sunny, the products are not going to last very long. So if we're spraying on a concrete pad on a sidewalk or a driveway or whatever it may be, right, where that bug problem might be, that product out there is not going to last very long. The longest, so the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, back in the day, they used to have these products that would last a really long time. Durspan, all these products, right? And the problem is they didn't break down in the environment, which means that if they got in someone's body and someone was exposed to that pesticide, it wasn't breaking down in their body either. So that was causing cancer. Well, and other health issues, right? So if you guys think about that, the EPA has tried to make these products over the years safer. And what they've done is they want that product to break down faster because they don't want it to stay in your body. As you're out spraying, Dan, or whatever, you got to be very careful that you don't come in contact, ingest it, get it through your skin, absorb it, whatever it may be, right? And they've done that to make it safe for applicators, homeowners, anyone that might come in contact with that. So that's what the EPA is trying to do. So what they're doing is they're bringing down the time that these products last. That being said, phytotoxic, right? So they are maybe that's not the right word. Anyways, there's a word for it, that the sunlight is what breaks these products down. And sorry, John, I was reading your comment right there. So these products, they break down quicker. And so it's more important to service on a more frequent basis, especially in these southern markets, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Mississippi. It's very, very important that maybe as a homeowner, to be better protected, you get on it every other frequency. So number one, that's going to boost your contract value, right? Get in there, $79, $89.
Sorry, two more things. If I
ahead.
can say just two more things before we step off that one, is sweeping the eaves. Like 3 months in the summer for wasps and spiders in the eaves, 3 months is a long time, and so it's hard when we're trying to give satisfaction, and then one of our competitors comes by and knocks on the door and it's been 2 months, so they've already had some wasps build, which is a really hard thing out here to control. So every 2 months just keeps those eaves consistently clean rather than letting it build up and cleaning it, letting it build up and clean it. So better attention on there. And then the other thing is the most important part of rodent control is fresh bait. So you want to be checking those bait boxes more frequently and making sure that it's just not getting old or nasty, so it's effective. So that's what I always tell people indoors too, is like, oh no, we want to make sure that we're checking those bait boxes every 2 months rather than every 3. So it's
Absolutely. And the longest product on the market that actually has a label that states a date as how long it lasts is 90 days. It's demand seal. It states 90 days. And we ran it one summer, and my retreat rates at 60 days and above were outrageous. And so I switched. I said, I'm not using this product anymore, and I'm going to go to a more frequent service. It's done a couple of things. It's our retreat rate currently as a company is 7%. That includes even when a technician, we go out, the homeowner's not home and we have to go back and do the backyard. Right. So it's not even a product issue. It's just customers not home. So anyways, that's huge. So, service frequency is the number one way I would say to build your contract value. The second thing, depending on what neighborhood you're in, right? So some neighborhoods you're going to have a really hard time because all they care about is price. But I don't bring up price till later on in the sale. I mean, I almost at the very end, till they're almost sold. They say, all right, when can you come out? I'm like, okay, let's go over pricing. You know what I mean? So you do all these small closes all the way through the sale. And by the time you get there, it feels like a laydown. So you're closing along the way. You say, hey, we're going to sweep the eaves. The reason we're doing that is to disturb the habitat of those spiders, to knock down the wasp nests. We're going to irritate them of where they're nesting so they don't come back. Does that make sense? right? That's a small close, right? So you're saying, does that make sense? You do that about 7 or 8 times through the sale, and they nod and they say yes, right, along the way. I promise you, it's going to feel like you have more laydowns than you actually do. But you're the one prepping them all the way through that sale to where they're closing right at the end. And if you do 7 or 8 small closes along the way while you're describing the service, it's game over. And they say yes to every single one. I guarantee it's a sale. So anyways, that's what I do. Works really, really well. And it doesn't, the customer doesn't feel like they're being sold, or they don't feel like they're getting into something that they don't feel comfortable with, because they agree with it along the way. And you just do one thing at a time. Does that make sense? Get them to say yes and nod their head, and agrees in some way or fashion, move on.
Any good icebreakers you would use? Like, what's that first couple seconds look like?
I just, I don't say, hey, I'm Brandon with Romex. I'll walk up to the door. Hey, how you doing? I'm just Brandon. I'm the local bug guy. Right. I very, just out here killing a few bugs, doing whatever. I don't know. I say different things. Icebreakers. I wouldn't say I'm the best at it, but you smile, they smile back, it's done. So there's you can say a lot of things. Man, it's hot out here, or who knows? I don't know what to say. I just throw out random stuff as I'm knocking doors, and sometimes it works. Other people look at me like, who's this weirdo? But that's all right too. I don't care.
That's fine. What questions you guys got?
I have one just on the service side. Whenever y'all sweep the eaves, do y'all put that product on the brush that like helps prevent the webs from sticking in the future, or no?
There's no product that'll help prevent webs from sticking.
Okay.
There is a product we can do dusts out there, like a Delta dust. Technicians do it, others don't. A lot of it depends on the color of the home. So if it's a lighter home, it's good to do. If not, you don't want to do it. But it's a dust, it's a powder, kind of looks like flour, right?
Gotcha.
And it'll stay up there as long as it doesn't get irritated or wet. And it won't prevent the webs from sticking, but what it will do is if a spider comes and rests on that area, it will kill them.
Okay.
But the purpose of sweeping eaves has nothing to do with killing the bugs up there. It has everything to do with appearance and disturbing them so they go elsewhere where you've targeted products, right? So imagine this, Chandler. If you're homeless, you're living under a bridge, and the police keep coming and knocking your shelter down under that bridge every single day, what are you going to do?
Move location.
Bingo. And that's exactly what these bugs are doing. They are trying to get food and water, and they're trying to survive, right? So if we come and we disturb those areas where they're hanging out, they're going to move. Now, the goal is for them to move where an area where we've targeted specific product, right? So maybe it's back behind brick facade, in between the structure of the home, where the weep holes have access to. Maybe it's back in there, and we've dusted the weep holes and we've put that dust back there, right? They come in contact with it and they die. Maybe it's at the base of the home. They get off, they go start walking out or further from the base of the home, and come in contact with the product and die. That's the goal. That's exactly what we want to happen. I think it's very, very important that customers understand that Romex coming out and treating after day one, it's not going to solve the pest problem, right? This is a gradual process, especially new construction. That dirt and land and area has not been touched for years, sometimes decades, right? Those bugs have had free reign in all that area. Mice, rats, same thing. They have not been touched. All of a sudden, some asshole comes in with a tractor and starts tearing up the dirt, and they're saying, oh boy, what do I do? Right? They're trying to find a new home. A lot of times they'll settle on those new homes. Well, what happens when the neighbor starts, the next lot over starts getting done? They're going to come to the place that's most stable. That's the home that's sitting there that has just been completed and the homeowner moved in. So that's why it's really, really important to, and that's why another reason I would push the every other month service is they're going to get a better service long term, and they're going to have less bugs. That product's going to be fresher every single time when we come out. So
nice.
Have fun with it. Have fun with it, guys. Like it's you can make so much money with this stuff, right? It's really amazing what you can do, but if your only focus is making money, money's not fun unless you do fun stuff with it. So focus on having fun along the way, and it's really enjoyable. Like I've made some amazing friends over the years just from knocking into them over the doors, you know, and it turns into, you know, great relationships and a lot of fun that maybe you don't have other places. But anyways, I really enjoy it. So
yeah, sure. Awesome. Well, I know you're busy and we're all busy too. We need to get out there and make it happen, you know.
If you guys ever have questions, feel free to call, text, whatever. We're here for you. So
yeah, I did want to say we really appreciate you, Brandon, and setting up such a quality company and standing behind that, you know, quality. You know, a lot of other companies will just cut corners all over the place. And, you know, I really appreciate you, you know, allowing us to sell. You know, there's a lot of companies who don't even reinvest into a program like this, you know, and so, you know, allowing us the opportunity to do it, and like, you know, you're changing lives. That's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to help these guys, you know, be you in 10 years and, you know, change their lives. And
do you guys ever see Braxton Patton on the leaderboard?
All the time.
5 years ago, he was driving a school bus. Today, he's a part owner of our Tyler office. He leads our termite program. This job will teach you so many great skills and open up the doors for a lot of different things. I love it. And if I didn't love it, I wouldn't still be doing this today, but it's really fun. I mean, you guys heard my story, right? Like I came from a really fun industry where I owned a Yamaha dealership. I owned a Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, Can-Am. We had Nautique boats. Like it was so fun. And the crazy thing is this business is more challenging running a pest control company than running an entire motorcycle dealership. And I love it. It's so fun to me. I don't know. I think it's pretty neat. So anyways, I wish you guys the best. I really hope you guys go out there and kill it. And I'll continue to work really hard on the back end with servicing these accounts, make sure that we get your customers taken care of really well.
Cool. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon.
Bye.
Bye. Nice. So that was good. Any questions? Any thoughts?
No, it was good stuff. Just another side note on one of the last things he was saying when he was talking about, you know, just have fun with it and enjoy it. From my experience, when you do just go out there and try to have fun, those have been my best sales days by far. It seems like everybody you talk to is easier. It's easier to close the deal if you're having a good time. It just makes everything better.
Nice. Yeah. So that's a good one. Don't get too like stressed, like anxious, like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, like
Yeah.
they do that and they're like, what's going on? So that's good. Just focus on getting out there and I think I told you guys that the other day. I was like, don't worry about making a sale. Go up there and try to make a friend. Like
Yeah.
do that first. That's your goal, is to get a no and make a friend. And if you do that, then you're gonna make sales.
Yeah.
So good stuff. I had some like other training things I'm putting together, but we'll go over those on Monday. I've got some good stuff to help raise contract values and different things. But I'll let you guys get going because I know we're all busy. So let's get out there. Fill out your sheet, so we can see your goals. That sheet, that link I sent you guys, and then let's make it a big day.
Sounds good.
Wait, thanks.
All right.